Hey guys, welcome back to the Curly Reader. My name's Amanda, and today I want to share with you some books that I am very excited about that are coming out in April, May, and June of 2021. All right, so I did one of these videos for the first quarter of 2021, and so I thought I would do one for the second quarter of 2021 and hoping that I can continue this momentum into the rest of the year. But I have a list of, I think, 10 books here that are going to be coming out in either April, May, or June of this year that I am super excited about that I want to share with you. So these are all adult books. I will have a separate video that will have all of my anticipated middle grade releases. But for this list, I'm just talking about adult books. Okay, so I have my phone here and I am going to share with you some of these books that I am so excited about. So the first book that I have here is Lenora in the Morning Light by Michaela Carter. This comes out on April 6th, and this is a World War II historical fiction that follows the experiences of Lenora Carrington during World War II. She was a surrealist artist, and during World War II, the Nazis had deemed surrealism a lost thing, as degenerates basically. And so she was basically in this movement with all these other artists, and they were all fleeing for their lives in Europe. And so it just sounded really interesting. So I have that one that I am very much anticipating. Another one that I ran across that just sounded fascinating is The Last Bookshop in London, a novel of World War II by Madeline Martin. And this comes out on April 6th as well. And this is inspired by the true World War II history of the few bookshops that survived the Blitz. It's a timeless story of wartime lost love and the enduring power of literature. So it sounds like it takes place in 1939 as London prepares for war. Grace Bennett has always dreamed of moving to the city, but the bunkers and blackout curtains that she finds on her arrival were not what she expected, and she certainly never imagined she'd wind up at Primrose Hill, a dusty old bookshop nestled in the heart of London. Through blackouts and air raids as the Blitz intensifies, Grace discovers the power of storytelling to unite her community in ways she never dreamed, a force that triumphs over even the darkest nights of the war. So that just sounded stories about books about books, right? That just sounds amazing. All right. The next one that we have is called All the Children Are Home by Patry Francis. And this is about a foster family that takes in foster children, and it says that it follows them through almost a decade of triumph and wrenching heartbreak. It's set in the late 50s through the 60s in a small town in Massachusetts, and it has to do with a family and who fosters kids. They have long-term foster children, and then they end up fostering a 6-year-old Indigenous girl who comes to live with them and changes their whole lives. And so that whole premise just sounded really fascinating to me. That comes out on April 13th. All right, and then one of my most anticipated books of the entire year has got to be Andy Weir's new book, Project Hail Mary. I don't even know what this is about. I just saw that Andy Weir had a new book coming out, and so I was like, yes, please, add to the list. This comes out on May 4th, and this, I guess, follows Ryland Grace, who is the sole survivor of a desperate last chance mission, and if he fails, humanity and the earth itself will perish. I have no idea, but this is the same author of The Martian, which was my favorite book I read last year, and so I am just going to go into this one trusting that it's going to be at least decent. I don't know. But it says part scientific mystery, part dazzling interstellar journey. It's a tale of discovery, speculation, and survival to rival The Martian while taking us to places it never dreamed of going. So we'll see how that one treats us, right? All right. Next, we have The Last Green Valley by Mark T. Sullivan. This one sounds amazing. Late March 1944, as Stalin's forces push into the Ukraine, young Emil and Adeline Martel must make a terrible decision. Do they wait for the Soviet bear's intrusion and risk being sent to Siberia, Or do they reluctantly follow the wolves, murderous Nazi officers who have pledged to protect pure-blood Germans? The Martells are one of many families of German heritage whose ancestors have farmed in the Ukraine for more than a century. But after already living under Stalin's horrifying regime, Emil and Adeline decide they must run and retreat from their land with the wolves they despise, to escape the Soviets and go in search of freedom. Caught between two warring forces and overcoming horrific trials to pursue their hope of immigrating to the West, the Martell story is a brutal, complex, and ultimately triumphant tale that illuminates the extraordinary power of love, faith, and one family's incredible will to survive and see their dreams realized. That just sounds like a book that was written for me. All right, now getting into some lighter, not historical fiction reads. We have Emily Henry's new book, which I'm so excited about. Beach Read was another one of my favorites from last year. And so she has another contemporary romance coming out that is titled People We Meet on Vacation. So this is a book that follows two best friends that always go on a week-long vacation together every year. And then all we know is 2 years ago, something happened and they haven't spoken since. And then the girl gets to thinking about the last time she was truly happy, and it was during their last vacation together. So she vows to make things right and invites him to go on vacation again. And they go, and she tries to reconcile things, and that's all I really know. But I am down for another Emily Henry? That's not right. Emily Henry contemporary, because Beach Read was amazing. All right. We also have Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which is another one of my most anticipated books of the whole year. I have read every single Taylor Jenkins Reid book that is currently published, and this one comes out on May 27th. And this one, I think it's technically historical fiction. It's set in the 80s. It's in Malibu, August 1983, and it follows this famous celebrity family, and they're having a big annual end of summer party, and then by the end their mansion goes up in flames. And so I think it's something kind of similar to the vein of Big Little Lies, where you know the ending and you're trying to backtrack and figure out what happened throughout the night. It's all these different siblings and they all have their own drama going on, and so that one just sounded, it's Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm gonna read it. All right, another one that I think sounds so cute. I did not love this author's, the only other book by this author that I've read I didn't love, and that is The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary. But the premise of this sounds so good. I want to give her another shot. So this follows Addie and her sister, who are about to embark on an epic road trip to a friend's wedding in the north of Scotland. And then they get in a car accident. The car slams into the back of theirs. And the driver of that car is none other than Addie's ex, Dylan, who she's avoided since their traumatic breakup 2 years earlier. And they find out that Dylan and his best friend are also going to the wedding, so they decide to all ride together. And so it's just kind of this drama-filled romance, fun. It sounds like a trip. So that one comes out June 1st, I believe. Let me double check that. That one comes out June 1st. All right. And then next we have another historical fiction. Can we see where this is going? I love historical fiction. And this is Our Woman in Moscow by Beatrice Williams. This has to do with the Cold War. So it's in 1948, Iris Digby vanishes from her London home with her American diplomat husband and their 2 children. The world is shocked by the family's sensational disappearance. Were they eliminated by the Soviet intelligence service, or have the Digbys defected to Moscow with a trove of the West's most vital secrets? 4 years later, Ruth McAllister receives a postcard from the twin sister she hasn't seen since their catastrophic parting in Rome in the summer of 1940. As war engulfed the continent and Iris fell desperately in love with an enigmatic U.S. embassy official named Sasha Digby. Within days, Ruth is on her way to Moscow, posing as the wife of a counterintelligence agent, Sumner Fox, in a precarious plot to extract the Digbys from behind the Iron Curtain. That just sounds... I love anything having to do with the Cold War. I just think that sounds fantastic. All right. And then the last book that I have here is yet another historical fiction. I'm sorry, guys. I tried looking for more that weren't historical fiction, but I like what I like. And this is The Personal Librarian by Marie Benedict and Victoria Christopher Murray. And this is a story of Belle DaCosta Green, I hope I pronounced that right, who was J.P. Morgan's personal librarian. She became one of the most powerful women in New York despite the dangerous secret she kept in order to make her dreams come true. So in her 20s, she's hired by J.P. Morgan to curate a collection of rare manuscripts, books, and artwork for his newly built Pierpont Morgan Library. Belle becomes a fixture in the New York society scene and one of the most powerful people in the art and book world, known for her impeccable taste and shrewd negotiating for critical works as she helps build a world-class collection. But Belle has a secret. And basically, she was not born Belle DaCosta Green, but Belle Marion Greener. She is the daughter of Richard Greener, the first Black graduate of Harvard and a well-known advocate for equality. Her complexion isn't dark because of her alleged Portuguese heritage that lets her pass as white. Her complexion is dark because she is African American. So that just sounded very, very, very interesting. So those are the books. Oh, and I forgot to say when that one comes out. That one comes out June 1st as well. So those are the books that I am excited about that are coming out in the next 3 months. Lots of historical fiction, a couple of contemporary. It's going to be one sci-fi. It's going to be a fun 3 months, and I am excited to read these books. Have you heard of these books? Are you excited for these books? Are there some that you're excited for that I just missed? Let me know all those things down below in the comments. I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope that you stick around and subscribe, and until next time, see ya.